Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday, November 11th, 2009. We still have some northwest swell in the water. It is backing down, about the cleanest it's going to be for a while. We do have a trough of low pressure moving through tomorrow on Thursday. Could be bringing us some weather. I wanted to show you why that could also be bringing us some wind swell over the weekend and what that also means for possible conditions and also a shift in winds that could be headed our way. Also, I'm looking at something up in the northern hemisphere might be bringing us some northwest swell probably by the 18th or so by the looks of things right now. Not a lot happening in the southern hemisphere, but I wanted to keep you posted on what we could expect in the way of northwest swell over the next week or two. So this is what's going on right now. Starting out looking at the wave analysis models, we don't see a lot going on right now. There's really nothing in the southern hemisphere, so we're going to concentrate today on the northern hemisphere. A little bit of something that's there north of Hawaii bringing them something, but not a whole lot happening up and around our neck of the woods. We do, though, have a little bit of something coming our way, although it's not shown in the Gulf. If we do show the models, those spin them forward in time, see a little bit of wind swell forming off our coast over the next 24 or 48 hours. Not a whole heck of a lot, but that's due around this weekend, so a little bit of formation there. A little bit of something then up in the Gulf, but that looks like it's going to stay far to the north here, looking at about 60 to 72 hours out, so not expecting anything out of that. But then we start noticing something else forming, coming across the Aleutian chain out of the Bering Sea, and then starting to progress towards our coastline. That's a system that right now on this model, about 117 hours out, holding possibly 20-foot seas. That's that dot of red in the center of it. But for the most part, as it progresses our way, it's more or less about 20-foot seas, 18-foot seas or so, and here about 900 to 1,100 miles or so off the Southern California coast to our northwest. A decent size fetch, but it'd have to grow quite a bit more in size to be quite epic, especially coming from that angle. It'd be somewhat steep northwesterly, probably seeing those something out of this around the 18th, maybe the 19th down in Southern California. Jumping over now to the weather models, here's a nice look at the relative vorticity model off of FNMOC, showing a really nice trough that's starting to form out in the Pacific, and of course that red area, that's a low pressure system, heavy vorticity, so that means that's going to be headed our way. It's going to be spinning down as that trough dips southward. That could be bringing us some weather by tomorrow. Spinning those models forward in time, we can see the usual progression toward our area, caught in that jet stream, trough dipping well over our area. That could be bringing some light rain to the area possibly on Thursday, but that's also tightening up some gradients near the area, and that would be then causing that wind swell fetch to form, but it's not very heavy, not looking like a whole heck of a lot, and of course with weather and then possibly winds coming in behind it as these gradients still remain tight over the next few days and then even into the weekend, still looking at a lot of troughing, not a lot in the best of conditions. It doesn't look like high pressure would move into our area until right around this time frame. This is looking later on Sunday, then possibly into Monday, but that system also, as we can see up here, this low pressure system could cause the gradients to be tighter, kind of an inside slider. More the high pressure building then and more on Monday. We start seeing that Gulf flow, and that'd be the one that could possibly be bringing us some surf around the 18th. As we start seeing that progress though toward our area, as is typical with these systems, it could also bring some weather. We can see a front starting to move our way, some troughing moving down. And then when we get toward the Wednesday time frame, this would be when swell might be due the earliest from that system. We can see heavy troughing pushing down over our area, so conditions might not be the best when that does arrive. We've got to see how it strengthens, and also if high pressure can keep enough of it to the north to keep the conditions clean in Southern California. Taking a look how this breaks down on the wave charts. This is one of the more dominant west-facing breaks over in one of the reports from my free site wavecast.com. We can see that northwest swell still backs off on the 12th. That'll be on Thursday. But then Friday the 13th, we're looking at an increase in wind swell. Not a whole heck of a lot. It is an increase possibly toward head high around west-facing breaks for the short 10-second periods. Not looking to be all that clean. Still hanging in there then on Saturday the 14th before decreasing then during the beginning of the week. As for winds, we can see on this wind chart from wavecast.com that not a whole heck of a lot going on today on the 11th, though we're looking at tomorrow on Thursday the 12th for definitely winds to start picking up on shore, but not become too brutal as that troughing pushes down more, storm passes through the area. And then, but that is going to have something in its wake, so Friday the 13th, we're looking at northerly winds picking up possibly early, and then possibly then having some northeast winds lingering then into the weekend, into Saturday, into Sunday time frame. but that all depends on how that inside slider low works and how that heavy that trough is going to be once it pushes down toward our area. So it does look like we'll be seeing some northwest wind swell over the weekend, although we're looking at some winds also being accompanied with that, and of course possibly some somewhat stormy conditions anyways on Thursday. Light chance of precipitation then. So it doesn't look like it's going to be the cleanest to surf. Probably clean up a lot more on Sunday. Wind swell backing down, but conditions cleaning up as high pressure moves in. Then really not a whole heck of a lot possibly until then Wednesday the 18th. Looking at some northwest possibly coming in from that Gulf system, but that's really not looking possibly to be the cleanest of swells right now, as that trough could be really pushing down toward our area, causing quite an onshore flow. Got to see how that all develops over the next couple days. That's all based on long-range simulation, but I'll be keeping an eye on it. I'll be keeping you posted, and if you want to always check out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, my automated site, wavecast.com, you get a lot of details on what's going to be coming up in the way of surf over the next week or two. You can always check out my Twitter surf reports, which will update you twice a day on what's breaking in Southern California. That's at twitter.com/wavecast. So until next time, take care, be safe, and smile in the lineup.